Well, how far will the four-year austerity plan affect businesses in Ireland? Fergal O'Brien joins me now. He is the chief economist with the Irish Business and Employers Confederation. Thanks very much for joining us today. If we can just begin by looking at yesterday's plans, are they some kind of have they created the conditions for growth?
Yeah, I suppose business looking at yesterday's plan, which is a plan for the economy and not for the banking sector, the most important number for them is the forecast for growth of 2.75%. And government has done some things in that plan in order to create those conditions, but ultimately government is only 1/5 of our economy, and it's the business and the households, which are 4/5 of the economy, which are now going to deliver on that growth. So one of the crucial things we've seen in the Irish economy over the last two and a half years is we've been getting back some of our lost competitiveness. We've become a very expensive economy in which to do business, and some of the measures yesterday will make Ireland more competitive, and that's very important for an export economy that's exporting 80 or 90% of everything we produce.
So the measures you're thinking of are the decrease in the minimum wage and what else? I mean, how you kept the corporation tax, which presumably was good, but 2.75% with the IMF looking over your shoulder it's very optimistic, isn't it?
I think crucially, we've had extensive consultations already with both the IMF and the European Commission, and effectively they're endorsing this strategy for the economy. So they have confidence in the fact that the Irish economy can grow at those rates, which do appear quite strong in European terms. But the fundamentals of the Irish economy remain strong. We've had this excessive focus on the banking system, on the public finances. The strength of the real economy has never gone away. And it's these strong enterprises, these export-led enterprises, that is going to lead to growth. So adjustments like the minimum wage is just one of the many things we need to do. Right across the cost spectrum, we had become too expensive, but we're getting a lot of those costs down. And yesterday's plan was part of that process.
Now, you do have quite high unemployment, and one of the issues that's always plagued Ireland at times of economic downturn has been losing some of the brightest and the best. What do you do this time round to try and stop that happening again?
Again, it's one of the perceptions that's been out there about Ireland at the moment, is that we're seeing people flooding out of the country. We're seeing a renewal of the brain drain that we experienced in the 1980s. That's not really happening. Our population is actually still growing. Our population is back almost at all-time record levels in terms of a mother in Ireland at any rate. During the boom years, we were adding about 100,000 people to the labour market over a period of 2004-2008. We're now, obviously, that labour market is under pressure, and the population, however, is still growing. We're seeing some people leaving the country. We're still seeing some people come back into the country. We're not seeing anything like a mass exodus. Crucially, yesterday we saw government intent to roll out a national internship scheme for our graduates. That's a key element from a business perspective, is that we keep this young, highly educated, highly skilled workforce in the country, keep them connected to work. We've also seen some useful intentions from government about reforming the social welfare system, and we're going to get people connected to employers, connected to the real work and to the real business and labour market, and that's going to be crucial in terms of addressing some of those concerns you may have around the population outflow.
Now, we were just hearing there about the precarious government situation. Does it seem as if whoever gets in, these plans will go ahead?
I think by and large they will. I think the significant thing about yesterday's plans is ultimately it was a plan of an Irish government. There was consultation with the European Commission and the IMF, but it was a plan of an Irish government. I think it's in our interest in this country to go ahead and deliver that plan, whatever the hue of the government will be. I think it's inevitable that we have to close this gap between our income and our expenditure. What we're setting out yesterday is probably the least damaging mechanisms for growth in the economy in order to do that. So crucially, no change in the Irish corporation tax. That remains a cornerstone of our enterprise policy. It's the corporate sector and the business sector that's going to drive growth in the economy. In terms of our income taxes, we broadened our income tax base. We didn't increase that marginal income tax rate. And again, that's going to be very important in terms of attracting key skills into Ireland, making Ireland an attractive place for people to come, live and work. And that's all going to be an important part of the recovery strategy. So I think any government that's going to come in, they're going to be looking at some of these measures and they're going to say, well, this is probably the least damaging way of closing this gap between income and expenditure. Okay, and I would expect that most of them will proceed as set out yesterday.
Fergal O'Brien, thank you very much indeed.